Let's talk about the 3 keys to long-term success as a teacher author. Now, you notice I said long-term because the keys to short-term success are going to be a little bit different than the keys to long-term success, because I can turn out a large number of products. I can maybe create this resource that's going to magically take off and it's going to do super well in the beginning. That's possible. But if I want to experience long-term success as a teacher author, I need 3 things. And we're going to be talking about what those 3 things are today. And number 3 in particular is one of those that kind of sets apart that short-term success versus long-term success mentality, where I'm really working on building towards the future with number 3. But let's start with number 1. And number 1 is not going to surprise anybody, and that is you have to have a quality product. If I don't have a quality product, then I have to have a larger audience. I have to market 10 times harder in order to get that resource to sell, if it ever sells at all. And I have to focus on constantly acquiring new customers, because customers that have already purchased my product, which was subpar in quality, are much less likely to come back and purchase more products from me because the quality was subpar, right? So I really want to make sure that I'm having high quality products. And a high quality product has a couple of things. The first thing that it has is it offers value to the teacher beyond just saving them time. And I know that most teachers come to Teachers Pay Teachers to save time, which makes a lot of sense. And that's what your resource is going to do. By default, your product is going to save a teacher time because they're not having to create it. But a textbook also by default saves a teacher time because they're not having to create problems, right? But there's a reason why a teacher is on Teachers Pay Teachers versus using a textbook or something that their school district has already given them, unless their school district hasn't given them anything, but that's another conversation for another time. There's usually another reason. They're usually looking to save time and gain something else. And gain student engagement, save time and challenge their students, save time and allow their students to express their creativity, save time and offer differentiated instruction to their students to meet their various needs. There's usually time and so you want to figure out what that and is that your product is meeting. And if you can meet that need, then you're much more likely to have a return customer. The second thing that I want to think about when it comes to the quality of the resource is the completeness of the resource. I want to think about every aspect from start to finish. Is this resource something that a teacher can quickly learn how to use? Or are they going to have to watch a lengthy video or read all of these directions? Or are they going to have to spend a lot of time cutting and pasting and doing a lot of prep work in order to be able to use it? Now, prep isn't always a hindrance for a teacher, okay? You can have resources that involve prep, but you do want to think about the longevity of this. If I have a quality resource that a teacher can implement very quickly and easily inside of their classroom without doing a lot of thinking or legwork or prep work, then that means that teacher is probably going to be much more likely to come back and purchase another product like that resource, because they know that they can easily implement that resource inside of their classroom and it's not going to take them a lot of time to do. We also want to think about the student side of this. And I think that this is one that teacher authors sometimes neglect. But if a teacher has a difficult time explaining to the student how to use that resource, then that's a lot of wasted class time, but it's also a little bit frustrating for the teacher and frustrating for the student. And it takes away from the fun and engagement that student can have with that resource. So I really want to think about, is this something that's age appropriate that a student could look at and they could figure out how to do this on their own with very little, if any, guidance from the teacher, so that there's a lot less friction and frustration between student and teacher and your product, right? So I want to think about that. We also want to think about the overall student experience with this product. There's a reason why toy manufacturers and candy creators market and create commercials for children. And that is, they know that if a child continues to ask their parent for something over and over and over again, not only are they more likely to get it, but it's going to keep that product top of mind for the person who has the wallet, which is, in your case, the teacher, okay? And so we want to take a little bit from that. We want to make sure that we're creating a product that students are going to ask for. We want to create a product that students are going to say, can we do that again? Can we do something like this again? Because if we're doing that, then that means we are going to be kept top of mind And it means that the teacher is much more likely to come and seek out our resources and purchase them on a more regular basis. So we want to remove any friction for the student. Anywhere that we can help the student out, give them little hints, tips, tools, tricks, or make a product more engaging for the student, then we absolutely want to do that because it's going to make their experience better, which means they're going to love it more, which means the teacher is going to have a better experience with our product, which means they're going to be a lifelong fan. The third thing that a quality product has is that it's pleasing to the eyes. So we want a product that looks visually appealing. This makes it so much easier to market because we're not having to color everything up and pretty everything up. It makes it so that our covers and our previews are more appealing, and by simply just showing our product. We don't have to put a lot of distracting images or clip art or anything on there to make it look more interesting visually, because the product itself is visually interesting and intriguing. So we want to think about that as well. So those are the three basic qualities of a quality resource, and a resource that is going to bring you repeat customers. And that is huge for long-term success on Teachers Pay Teachers. A significant chunk of my revenue comes from repeat buyers. I want to say 40% of my buyers are repeat customers, meaning they try a product and they come back. And when you're looking at something in the neighborhood of 40% being repeat customers, that tells you that you're going to have much more sustainable, long-term success because you have buyers who are seeking you out and purchasing more of your product. All right, let's talk about number two. Number two is having high quality listings and search engine optimizing your products. Okay, this is really, really important. And you don't have to have all of this in the very beginning. You don't have to be an expert at SEO when you first start off. You don't have to have covers and previews figured out perfectly. Some of those things are going to come with time, but it should be a top priority for you to learn search engine optimization, to learn about covers, to learn about high quality previews and product descriptions. Now, I've done some of this for you in a previous video. I've talked about high quality previews. I've talked about high quality covers and product descriptions. But I also have a workshop over search engine optimization and covers that you can sign up for free. It's called Get More Views, and there's a link to that down in the description. I've also linked to the other videos as well that cover product descriptions, covers, and previews, so you'll want to make sure that you check those out as well. But these things are really important for long-term success because it helps buyers find you. And if I'm just relying on driving outside traffic to my store, then what that means is anytime I decide to take a break and I'm not driving traffic, my revenue is going to go down. But if I have organic traffic, meaning I'm getting traffic from search engine optimization, buyers seeing my product inside of TPT search and clicking on it and then purchasing my product, then that means I'm going to have more sustainable income, because anytime I want to step away and take a break, my products are search engine optimized, buyers are able to find me, and I have buyer-friendly previews and descriptions that are converting, and I have high converting product previews and descriptions that are making me money even when I'm not marketing to an audience. And this is super, super important. It's something that every single TPT seller out there should be focusing on. Do not neglect search engine optimization. Do not neglect creating high quality covers and previews, because they absolutely will make you money while you sleep. Okay, let's talk about number three. Number three is super important for long-term success as a teacher author, and that is building an audience. Okay, now hear me out on this one, because I feel like there are two camps of people, both of which make mistakes. The first camp says, I'm not going to worry about building an audience. I'm going to grow traffic organically through TPT and focus on that because that's all that matters. The second camp of people jump the gun way too soon. They neglect their SEO. They neglect creating high quality products. They neglect the creating previews, and they just kind of let some of that stuff go to focus on building an audience. And so they're building an audience and they're directing traffic, and they're spending all of this time directing traffic to Teachers Pay Teachers to products that are not optimized. And so they're having to work so much harder to get those purchases than they have to. Okay. But building an audience is extremely important. And we don't just want an audience that's on Instagram. We don't just want an audience that's on Facebook. You want an audience of people that you can contact whenever you want to, and you know you can get a hold of them. I really like email marketing for this. SMS marketing is another thing that you can do. You can also have a blog if you'd like, but I really think email marketing is the way to go. It's super practical and it's very inexpensive. It's also the highest converting form of online marketing, and you're going to get the best bang for your buck. But let's talk about why this is important, why it's really important to have an audience if you're in online sales. So I'm going to tell you what I told a family member of mine not too long ago who is trying to get into online sales. I told them, if you have an audience, you can sell anything. You can sell the things that nobody would think to ever even look for because you'll have the ability to tell them about it. If you have an audience, you can send an email, you could send a text message, you could reach out to them, and in a moment, you can make thousands of dollars because you have an audience. And that's a really powerful thing to have. When you have an audience, your options for products that you want to create immediately expands. Because there may be a product that you know teachers would love if only they knew it existed. If you have an audience, you get to tell them about it. And with an audience, you can shift anytime you want to. So if you want to shift into creating courses, or you want to shift into selling on your own website, or you want to make a shift in the types of products that you're offering, you have an audience. And so you have a starting place. And you don't have to completely start from scratch. You don't have to have a separate Teachers Pay Teachers store. You don't have to work to start driving traffic to your own website or to get people to that product or to let them know that that product even exists. You don't have to work nearly as hard because you have an audience. And so this is really, really key. If I want to experience long-term success as a teacher author, it's important that I make it a priority to build my audience. Because who knows if 5 years down the road, I don't want to sell on Teachers Pay Teachers anymore. Maybe I only want to sell on my website. Maybe there are some resources that TPT won't allow me to sell that I know teachers need. Or maybe there's a product that is really expensive and I would like to be able to offer it to buyers at a discounted rate on my own website where TPT isn't taking that 20% commissions. I can offer that exclusively on my website, and it gives my buyers more options and it gives me more options. It gives me more freedom when I have my own audience. All right, so those are the 3 keys to long-term success on Teachers Pay Teachers. Number 1, make sure you're putting out high quality products. Number 2, you really want to make sure that you are optimizing your product listings so that they can be found organically through TPT search or the search engine of any marketplace that you're on. And then finally, number 3, you want to make sure that you're taking the time to build your own audience outside of TPT so that you have the ability to pivot inside of your business anytime you want to. All right. I hope you found this helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe. I put out weekly content for teacher entrepreneurs to help them grow their teacher author businesses. And I'm going to see you in the next video.